Stamford was first settled by trappers and farmers in the 1700s and grew rapidly as a stopover for travelers on the Catskill and Susquehanna turnpikes. In the early 1800s, the village acted as a distribution center for area farmers and the fast growing butter industry in Delaware County. During this period, people would occasionally travel to Stamford to hike and camp in the mountain air. However, it was not until the construction of the Ulster and Delaware Railroad in 1872 that Stamford grew as a resort area. Stamford has a thriving and growing business community and an abundance of recreational activities available to residents and tourists alike. At Mount Utsayantha for hiking, sightseeing, and picnicking, at Veterans Park and Indian Trail Park. Stamford Mayor Rob Schneider gave us an update on what's happening in the village.
For this segment of DelCo 360 Local Matters, we're joined by Bob Schneider, who is the mayor of the village of Stamford. Bob, thanks for joining us today on DelCo 360. Stamford, over the past year or so, has really seen something of a revitalization. A lot of new businesses, a lot of new energy. What's going on? What do you attribute all that to?
Well, most people would suggest that it's all COVID related, and I'm not going to say that that certainly isn't a contributing factor. But this had started a year or so before COVID arrived.
It did, yes.
The village, at least real estate sales, had ticked up quite a bit. And we had a couple of new businesses that were on their way, but they did happen to open post-COVID, and we've had many join them. I think we have 6 in total on Main Street within the past 12 months. We've had a tremendous turnover of residential real estate and some commercial real estate. So COVID certainly was a driving force, but I think there was a renaissance happening in the Western Catskills ahead of that, if you were to have seen what was going on in Margaretville and Andes and so forth. I think the train was definitely out of the station already.
Well, I think you're right, and I think what COVID did, it's sort of the same phenomenon that I saw after 20 years ago, after September 11th, was the conditions were already happening on the ground, as you say. Mm-hmm. But in this case, COVID may have been something of an accelerator to make that happen just a little bit faster, and maybe we all were just paying more attention.
Yes, but I also think that this has a lot more staying power.
Oh, yes, yes.
Because people have discovered a new way to network and work remotely. I know that businesses in Manhattan that felt they would lose productivity from their employees from working at home, kind of discovered that it was just the opposite, that they got a lot more out of their employees when they were working at their leisure. And I have a feeling that's going to free up a lot of commercial real estate business in Manhattan as time goes by.
Unfortunately, that's probably very true. And talking with, you're in the real estate business as well, and we both have friends who are in real estate down in the metropolitan area. We're both hearing, I'm sure, about that high vacancy rate down there, and unfortunately, I think a lot of that's going to continue. And we're some of the beneficiaries of that.
Oh, absolutely. And the village of Stamford has a lot to offer to people that want to relocate to a country setting without being out in the boondocks. We have a grocery store, drugstore, we have village infrastructure with village water and village sewer. So we have the kind of services that people are accustomed to in a more urban setting, so that they're not worried about buying some house that has a well and has a private septic system that can fail and so on and so forth.
Or what's a septic system?
Well, exactly. So the village is well positioned actually for what's happening, I think.
So you mentioned several new businesses, 6 new businesses just here on Main Street alone in the last year, and certainly a lot of new people moving into the area, rehabilitating a lot of the homes that we have here in Stamford. all very positive developments over the last 18, 24, 36 months.
That's true, and the businesses you see on Main Street are really like the tip of an iceberg, because there are tremendous volume of other businesses that don't have a retail location on our Main Street. So we have a new business alliance, which I know you've been to a couple of the meetings, the Stamford Business Alliance. I think they're better than 60 members strong at this point, and they have a lot of different cottage industries that are sprinkled around Stamford and Hobart and Jefferson. So it's a nice group, very active.
It is, and they're young and enthusiastic, and really want to get things done, which is that's all terrific. Let's talk for a moment about some of the new projects that you're working on as mayor here in the village of Stamford. Some of the infrastructure improvements that you and your board, and I should say we're meeting here in Village Hall at where your village meetings typically are. What are some of those projects that we can look forward to over the next coming months?
Well, we're in the middle of building our new municipal swimming pool, which is a gift to the village from the Robinson Broadhurst Foundation.
That's tremendous.
In my view, it's going to be the finest municipal swimming pool in Delaware County. It was designed by David Altman, who was a local architect. The pool will be open for the 2022 season, and at that time we'll be filling in the current pool that was built back in 1959. In addition to that, we have a TAP Transportation Alternatives program from New York State, a grant for about $2.4 million. We will be replacing all of the sidewalks in the village from the intersection of Route 10 and 23, or Harper Street and Lake Street, down to about where the dollar store is. And the goal of this is to make all of our sidewalks ADA compliant, as well as the crosswalks, and to lose the red paving stones that have been a real problem since they were installed back in 1981. And in addition to this, we'll be replacing the overhead street lamp lighting with more historic street lamps.
Oh, really?
So we're just in the process of choosing those fixtures now. That project is about to go out to bid. We also have the second half of a $3.8 million water infrastructure project that started with the replacement of our existing water tank up on the hillside here. And now we're doing water main replacement along Lake Street, West Main Street, River Street, and the Hobart Road. That has just gone out for bid, and that should start probably in the spring of next year. So all told, we've got around somewhere between $8 and $9 million of infrastructure projects, which is a lot for a village of 1,200 people.
Well, sure. And it sounds like it's going to be an exciting 2022.
It really is. And we managed recently to demo some problem structures.
Yeah.
We have one more that we're wrestling with, but we did manage to remove the former Madison Hotel and the rear portion of this historic house next to the village hall, and a derelict gas station down on Main Street. And that gas station is going to become a village park.
Really? Terrific. You know, and the village has a role. We talk about economic development, we talk about what's happening with private businesses, and the village village government specifically has a role in that, in creating an atmosphere that's conducive for private business. And one of the areas I'd like to discuss with you is the idea of cannabis sales. New York State legislature several months ago made cannabis legal here in New York State, and allowed municipalities to, if they wish to, opt out of having that legal business in their communities. The village of Stamford chose not to opt out. Can you talk a little bit about what went into that decision?
Well,
or non-decision, if you will.
right. There's not a tremendous volume of information about this process at the moment, but it is kind of like the end of prohibition. I think we have to understand that this is now something that's legal. The communities around us are, I don't know if they're opting in or opting out, but I wouldn't want to put the village in the position of being the community that opted out and then was sorry later. We can opt in and not do anything about it. We really, as I said, have limited information on how this is going to roll out. But if there is a financial benefit in any way to the village of Stamford, I, as a mayor, have a fiduciary responsibility to at least explore that. So that's really where we are with it. And again, it seems to be so preliminary at this point.
Yeah, I think with a new governor that seems to be committed to getting some action at the state level on the Office for Cannabis Management, some of those questions will start to be answered. But supporting legal business, I thank you for that measure of support in the Village of Stamford's efforts to support any legal business here in the municipality.
Right.
With the proviso that you can always regulate as to where and things like that within your limits.
Well, exactly. And the village government is here for the service of the taxpayers, and business owners are certainly a big component of that.
Sure.
I mean, if we're going to revitalize our Main Street and take advantage of the regional renaissance, we can't bind ourselves up with decisions we may regret later.
Bob, what else is happening in Stamford that you want to let folks know about?
Besides
an invitation to come and visit.
Yes, please come down to Stamford. You can see for yourself. We have a lot of new businesses, a lot of activity, concert series, art gallery, more coming this year, more in the spring. Come down and swim in our new pool after the 1st of July next year. I think you'll be impressed. And again, we thank the Robinson Broadhurst Foundation for that very generous gift to the village.
What a tremendous asset to have in a community like this.
And it will remain open, free to the public.
That's great. Terrific. Bob Schneider is the mayor of the Village of Stamford. Thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Pleasure.
And folks, if you haven't been to Stamford recently, you haven't been to Stamford. Right at the intersection of State Highways 10 and 23 on the northern edge of the county. Come up and visit and find out what's new here in the Village of Stamford.
There are a variety of infrastructure upgrade projects in the Village of Stamford, including the construction of the Robinson Broadhurst Foundation Memorial Swimming Pool, which is expected to open in 2022.
So welcome to the new Stamford Municipal Pool, the Robinson Broadhurst Memorial Pool. It's an L-shaped pool, obviously, here. Kiddie pool, decking. Behind you is the pool house with the dressing rooms, the concession stand, the pool equipment, lifeguard station, and so forth. Around the perimeter, these will be covered brick-clad piers, and there'll be black cast iron fencing in between these. And then the concrete decking will enclose this entire space. There'll be no grass within the pool enclosure.
Whatever your interest or reason for visiting, the Village of Stamford, the Queen of the Catskills, has something for everyone. Remember, shop small and shop local. We are stronger together.